152 yards should be just a nice, comfortable 9-iron for him. They're going to go nuts when he hits this thing.
Yesterday's price is not today's price.
Yo, what up, golf degenerate friends? Welcome to your weekly golf gambling club meeting. This is Preferred Lines. My name is Joe Idoni. You've stumbled onto a golf gambling podcast. We're going to talk a little bit of last week, what happened to the President's Cup. I'm going to bring a special guest on here in just a moment. If you're joining me live, like on Periscope or whatever they call it on Twitter Live now, do me a solid. Go to the YouTube page at Preferred Lines. Go there, drop a comment. Let me know that you're here because I can see those posts. I can't see anything else. I'm blind on Twitter. Takes literally 1 second. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Either way, I think it helps, and it lets YouTube algorithms know that there are actual human eyeballs on this show, which I think helps. I'll do my best to acknowledge each and every one of your comments. I appreciate you. Here's what we got on tap for tonight's show. We're going to try to be quick. I know Monday Night Football is coming up. Sanderson Farms. Let's get in and out. New segment alert to start the show. I'm going to bring in my special guest in here in just a moment. We will reveal that. Then we're going to do a quick course preview. I'll give some key stats for the week. We're going to go through the entire odds board, betting board like we do each and every week. I'll give my best bet. We'll get out of here. But without further ado, I'm so fired up to bring this guy on. He's been a huge supporter of me, and I think that he's honestly one of the most hilarious personalities on Twitter. A rock star in real life, a rock star on Twitter. Welcome to Preferred Lines, Scott Holdridge. What up, dude?
Oh, hey, bud. How's my guy?
Specimen. What's going on?
Oh, sorry. Just toweling off here with my sweet ass golf towel. What are you up to, bud?
Oh, not much, man. Just another Monday. Enjoying a nice beverage. I got a little tequila and some sparkling pineapple tonight. What about you? You got anything in the mixer?
That a babe. You had a little dance with tequila this weekend too, I believe.
Yes, Saturday. Missed a tee time because of it. It's okay. I'm right back on the wagon, man. We don't let days go by without too many drinks around here.
Yeah, that tweet killed me. I was like, I could just picture it, just hungover at a child's birthday party, just sitting in the heat. It's
Yeah, it's brutal. The Florida heat hits different when you're doing something you don't quite, when you could be doing something else that is maybe preferable. Yeah. The heat hits a little different.
I had a buddy, one of my best college friends, he told me that. He's just like, dude, hangovers with children are a whole other level. It's a whole other ball game. That I got a ton of nieces and nephews, but hungover and then also being responsible for children is I can't even handle myself. Now I'm in charge of this. Oh God.
You're a dog dad, you know the deal, but it's not quite the same as you and a 5-year-old slapping you in the face, wake up in the morning. It's a little different.
You gamed up, you're ready. I love it. You're back on it. Let's go.
Listen, dude, we're gonna start off. I'm working through a new little segment here. I'm about to reveal in just a second. Working title. I'm still working on this. If you have any suggestions, please relay it. But here's what I'm going with for now. The dimple things. All right. This is where we recap the previous week. It's a little play on, the simple things. We're a golf related show. I thought it was cool. Working title, like I said, presented as always by my friends at the Fantasy Golf Pod. Really appreciate them. Podcast, ownership, projections, the Golf Guys program, which is your last call on Wednesday nights live. Good friends over there. Please support them. But here's how we're going to start. I wanted to kind of do a little bit more of a recap on the previous week. Last week, obviously, we had the President's Cup memory bank. Okay. So I'm a big notes guy. I've got this Google Docs, Google Drive document that goes back 4 or 5 years. I try to jot some things down from every tournament because it's honestly, there's so many events. It's hard to remember going back 5-6 years now. The most important thing to remember from the 2022 President's Cup, I'll start with mine. And it was the absolute wagon, Scott Holdridge, that was Team Korea.
Yes.
what an electric group of guys. They overall 9-7-1. I feel like they stole the show, even though they lost. Sung Jae was an absolute force. KH Lee was 2-1, and his wife had on a shirt that said he was the most handsome and sexiest golfer.
Oh
King
my God,
Handsome on the back of her shirt. Siwoo on Sunday, like, was everything we wanted and more out of Siwoo. It was just amazing. And of course, Tom Kim was the star of the week without any question. Team Korea was absolutely electric. Team Canada, on the other hand, 0-8. I know we're going to Canada for the next President's Cup, so hopefully they can have a better performance there. But for me, the one thing I will remember is not the USA victory. It's how awesome those Koreans were this past week. And what's your one thing for the week?
Man, I just got to piggyback off of that because it was so cool. And like seeing them in this environment, in a team environment, and like seeing their personalities more all week. And even Hideki's caddy, did you see that? He's like,
oh yeah,
just nuts. And I think they were just so good. And man, just unbelievable, all of them. I mean, Tom Kim's God. We all know this now.
Yep.
It got to the point where I was like, I think I'm sick of him.
Yeah.
Well,
I think Paul Azinger, our good friend Paul Azinger, actually said that he's got #1 player in the world potential, which to that point when he gave me that, I was like, okay, maybe I need to cool on Tom Kim a little bit.
Yeah,
he was awesome.
Just like, I feel like they need someone just from golf Twitter that's like in their production meetings on like Thursday and then every day, just like, hey, here's what everyone's talking about. You might want to mention it. Because they were like, it's like, do they even, Azinger mixed him up like Siwoo on, he mixed them up. He's like, Tom Kim here, like hitting a shot. And I was like, dude, that's Siwoo. What are you doing? And then by Saturday and Sunday, it's like, he's the #1 player in the world. It's like, dude, like just pay attention.
So, it was bad. Like the coverage, we could talk about it. There's 5 groups on the course. We somehow can't get a camera on every single one of them. We missed a ton of shots, but in all, like I'm with you. I think it was exciting. I think we got like a new rooting interest, young star out of it that we had the live guys not gone. Maybe we would have never gotten those type of like moments or gotten to know Tom Kim like we did. So those are kind of our memory bank things for the week. Moving on, we are going to nominate, in honor of the Fantasy Golf Pod running the Golf Guys program, our golf guy of the week from last week. Now, this can be Tom Kim. It can be someone who had an awesome performance. It can just be something funny. But who was like, I'll let you take the stage here on this one, Scott. Who's your golf guy of the week from last week?
I think it was Siwoo.
Yeah.
I mean, I just wrote down in my notes, it was just JT fucking around and finding out. And like, it all started on Saturday. You could just see it. He hit that shot from around that tree, that stinger, that was just like a cut into a tucked left pin with a bunker. And it was just like, oh shit. Siwoo's like, he's having a thing. And then on Sunday, everyone's like, oh my God, Siwoo out first. What's Immelman doing? It was like, no, Siwoo got that swagger. And then him just putting JT in a box. Because, like, I'm so done with just JT during these events is just such a try-hard. And, like, he's just over the top and annoying and obnoxious to me. And it's just having Siwoo just bury him. Like, he was swimming in his dome. Swimming.
He gets me on these moments with JT where I love it, and I love like the fire of like when he made that putt with Jordan the one day and like, come on, like I love that kind of stuff in golf. But then like he drops the putter down and like wants people to give him putts. Like you can't have it both ways. It gets a little bit tiresome, but you can tell that like he really, really deeply loves golf. You can tell that Tom Kim deeply loves golf. 2 big golf guys. But my golf guy of the week, Scott, this is going to be a little weird. He didn't even play in the President's Cup. But nobody right now is more committed to golf than Patrick Reed. Patrick Reed, September, Boston, Wentworth, Chicago, France, Dunhill. Then he's going to Bangkok, and then he's going to Saudi Arabia. Even his wife, fully committed to the golf guy approach. She went on a tirade about how the OWGR has canceled global golf. even his kids support dad being a huge golf guy, even though he said he was going to be home to like feed them breakfast and take them to school. He's just gone completely.
In his medieval castle house. Yeah.
Nobody loves golf more than one Patrick Reed. He's going to be my golf guy of the week. We'll continue to do this with each and every guest. But before we go, I have one last thing. I'm going to do this new thing as well, where I nominate my favorite tweet on Twitter from the week. So highly prestigious award. If you're on golf Twitter, this is your crown jewel right here. This is what you want to get. This was my favorite tweet of the week, Scott. Trevor Immelman absolutely owning Greg Norman with a simple tweet, LOL. I thought Immelman was awesome all week. Like, I don't know what his role is in terms of broadcasting, if that's Mark or if he only does it sometimes, but I feel like with Faldo now gone, like we need an accent, besides Jim Nance. So the guy's got to have an accent. Even the live guy, Arlo or whatever, who's got an accent. You got to have your second in the chair has to have a nice accent.
Right.
Immelman has that. He knows his stuff. I think that he was funny. I think that he was like genuine, and I appreciated this tweet absolutely owning Greg Norman with a simple 3-letter response like only he could do.
Yeah, I think that, and also that goes into kind of memory bank too, of just like an unbelievable first ballot Hall of Fame. Because like Greg Norman can't even resist. It's like, Greg, just take the day off. It's not about you today. Let it go. The amount of edits that tweet must have went through were insane. Because it's like him trying not to be the usual D-bag Greg Norman. And like, people were looking it over, like, take this, add this, and then just getting buried.
Bodied him.
Just body bagged by Immelman with LOL was just.
The ratio of likes and quote tweets was through the roof on that one. Great job by Immelman. Couldn't have owned the moment any better than that. Tweet of the week.
Yeah, dude, that was mine. And then our boy Chris Powers was just on a heater.
He's always on a heater.
Yeah, this week and the players I think are his crowns, but he just he ate Wheaties and just went into a GNC and took everything and just started tweeting. It was I was messaging him dude, I was going to tweet there and just on one.
Yeah. Firing away. You know who else is really good? Who's starting to well, you're fantastic at the comments and the replies. The girl, I don't even know really where she's from or how I started following her, but it's Claire Rogers.
Oh, yeah.
Follow her. She's fantastic. She had some hilarious tweets about, I think it was JT and Jordan when they were he was no, don't give it to him. She was when my husband says he wants to go out past 9 p.m. Thought it was very funny. Those are some honorable mentions, but Immelman owned the week.
Can't be married. Please tell me she's not married.
Yeah. What's that?
Married?
Who?
I hope she's not married. I
don't know. It could be up for grabs, dude. Get in there. Get in those DMs.
No. People are fawning for her. Oh God. Phew.
She's hot. All right. Let's talk about the golf course this week. What we have on tap, the Country Club at Jackson.
Yes,
a Fote and Gogol design. Wow. Nothing. There's two guys you want to see on the list in terms of golf course. It's right. Fote and Gogol. I'll tell you that. Par 72, 7,460 yards roughly. Champion Bermuda grass all throughout. Head to toe. Tee to green over there in Jackson, Mississippi. Average cut line -1. Last 5 winners. Sammy Burns at -22. Sergio Garcia -19. Sebastian Munoz, who was awesome on Sunday, -18. Cameron Champ -21. Ryan Armour -19. Hard to pick back-to-back years with two guys with a wider range of skill sets than Champ and Armour. But that's what we get here at Jackson. I'm going to do some quick stats. Off the tee, I think perspectively this week is a little bit higher for me. I'm going to weight distance over accuracy a little bit more. I think there's players that do both well who have had success here. So it's hard to pinpoint things. Here's the thing. If you hit it really far, you can have a week where you're very accurate hitting it far. If you're very accurate, you're not just all of a sudden going to have a week where you pick up 25 yards off the tee.
Right.
So more chances for things to go right the further you hit it. Rick Run Good, my buddy, had distance ranked 13th, accuracy 31st in terms of his correlated stats for success this week. Last year's leaderboard, Burns, Watney, Cam Young, Mullinax, Sahith, all very aggressive guys who swing it very hard off the tee. Approach, slightly more correlated than I had kind of imagined here. Putting, of course, fourth in terms of success rates in the PGA Tour courses. Emphasis heavily on that champion Bermuda grass. Won't be too much on around the green this week, Scotty. 6,200 square foot greens. If you're missing the greens, you're probably missing the cut. And Sam Burns last year, number one, greens in regulation and off the tee. That will usually lead to success when you're sort of, Sam Burns caliber player. Anything I missed there that you're looking at to add maybe?
No, I'm in a similar. I'm kind of more good drives gained this week.
Okay.
And I think this, like, with bigger greens, it brings weaker approach players into it.
Yep.
Easier greens to hit, so I'm kind of going more approach is always one, but I'm also looking at players who maybe that's not their strength, but this week with huge greens and, kind of easy putting, like, I think it brings in a lot more people into the, like, who we're picking. But yeah, off the tees, whatever. It's kind of the opposite. It's what we expected at Fortinet, where it was just, but a lot of no one was really using driver a lot. They were using more kind of plotting placement tee shots. In this, I feel like everyone's just going to bomb it and go.
I think so too. Yeah, there's not much in terms of hazards for a big miss. Late night tips with a huge late night tip. Trevor's next to Nance starting next season. I didn't know that. I'm glad my brain thought of that. I'm thinking on the right lines with CBS Sports there. Okay, let's get to the betting board. Here we go. Oddschecker.com, the betting board for the Sanderson Farms Championship. At the very top, Samuel Burns, coming off a hot week at the President's Cup. Is he hungover? He might be. Sahith, 20-1, best number on him. Russell Hendall, 25-1. JT Poston, 27-1. Sebastian Munoz has withdrawn from this week's event, so don't bet on him over at MGM or any of those other books. Denny McCarthy's 29-1. Scott Stallings, 30-1. I'll kick it to you, Mr. Holdridge. You like anybody up here? What do you think about Sam Burns? Is it one of the years where you just see the best player win like we kind of did last week with Homer? Are you worried about a President's Cup hangover for Burns?
I mean, there's zero question he's hungover and he's hurting, but people play great hungover.
Yes.
So I am going to sprinkle a little bit on Burns. Sahith, I feel like that's the new FOMO kind of golfer, like, gotta play him. He's kind of like Will Zalatoris until we get his win. But I think the sneaky play might be Henley. So I think I might go there, where it's just good all-around game. We haven't seen him a lot. If you get a number you like on him, go for it. He's kind of the one out of the four, which I feel like I'm gonna stick in that lane and throw 100. What are you thinking?
So I'm not gonna bet Burns. If you cross out Burns, I think there are two players who are the best two players in the field with the best chance to win. I think it's Sahith and I think it's Henley. The problem, and you mentioned it, is that I'm going to have major FOMO if Sahith hits.
Right.
I've been on him early and often in his career. I've tried so many times, Scott, to get him on the podcast. I have emails that I sent to Sahith from like 3 years ago trying to get him to come on the show. He won't respond, man. I may be out on Sahith soon, but I just think he's so talented. Obviously, the birdies, we know he makes a ton of them. We know he's aggressive. T8 here last year. The other stats aren't great, but Henley was extremely surprising to me, and I'm glad that you kind of brought it up because number one in birdies are better gained over the last 24 rounds. The approach numbers have really keyed back in nicely. Quick Bermuda grass greens, reminds me of Sedgefield, reminds me of Honda, a couple of places where he obviously has either gotten victory or come close to victory. And the ball striking numbers are the best of anyone by a pretty wide margin here inside the top 10 when you rule out Sebastian Munoz. So he's probably coming in the best form recently. I just, it's the thing, can Russell Henley win? That's the thing.
Right. Yeah, I think the thing with Sahith that I noticed, and he did this at Fortinet, where it's just like dumb bogeys. Like, he's just got to clean it up. Like, if you look at his 4 rounds, he didn't have that one round where it was just like 5 birdies, 1 bogey. It was always like he's kind of until he gets, and I think it's probably just repetition of just being used to being on tour. But until he cleans up some of the bogeys, like he had Fortinet, he had all these tournaments. You just look at his scorecard zone, it's like, damn, just eliminate like 1 or 2 bogeys.
Yep. And I think it's a product of him just being an aggressive mindset. I think it's what is his best asset and also can be his weakness at times. It's what got him into contention at the Travelers, because there's a lot of pins there you don't want to go after, but he goes after him. But it's also what probably lost him the tournament on the last hole when he tried to get it onto the green with a lip right in front of him. It's probably what got him into contention at Phoenix at Waste Management, where a lot of guys aren't willing to take on the crazy amount of water there is there. And he just played extremely aggressively, made a ton of birdies, but it's also, you see on the 17th hole, like, things happen. So it can, his biggest strength, I think, can also be his weakness. The amount of birdies that he makes, I think you have to attack at all times. And when you attack, you're not just playing for the center of greens, you can get into trouble. And I think that's why he makes bogeys. If he can clean that up one of these weeks, I still think he's going to win. And if you, it's hard to remove Sam Burns from this, because I think he could easily repeat, although I'm not going to bet it. But if you do, I think he's the most talented player left.
For sure. And I mean, his putting during the President's Cup was insane. Like, I know he's good at Bermuda Burns, etc., but that was like a takeaway of some of the shots I saw. Like, Sungjae Im blew me away. He's like, I think he's going next level next year.
Yep.
But yeah, just unbelievable putter. Like, his game is so complete now. Like, he broke through, got wins, and now he's going next level. And I mean, who knows? Maybe he can win this hungover. Let's see.
Maybe. I don't think. I wouldn't put it past him, especially coming back to like Valspar. Didn't he repeat at Valspar?
I think so. Yeah.
He can do it. Let's move on down the board a little bit. We got Taylor Montgomery, Korn Ferry Tour, #1 player coming in. Didn't win the Korn Ferry Tour championship, but I think that most who know will regard him as the most talented guy coming up this year. Christian Bezuidenhout, still in the field at 40-1. He was able to ruin a 6-leg parlay for me on Sunday, where the other 5 hit in that Kisner match. Was the final one that I needed, and he beat Kiz. I was really pissed about that. Davis Riley 40-1, Emiliano Grillo 40-1, Keegan 40, Thomas Detry 40-1, Harris English 50. Any gut feels here, Scotty?
I'm kind of going with experience here, and he's starting to show signs, but I like Harris English out of these guys. Okay. Coming off the injury, kind of a sleeper. I'm kind of out on everyone else, though. Like, Montgomery, it's just like, haven't seen it yet. He's a hot putter, and I mean, that's great, but is that long term? Like, are you the next Denny McCarthy with better approach? But yeah, out of that core, you said, like, Davis Riley, I know he's kind of a darling of picks, but yeah, I'm just going with been through it all, seen it all, Harris English here.
You know what? It's kind of crazy. I was thinking about this last week, like how much when you and I, or you're going for a Saturday match with buddies, right? How much putting matters in match play scenario, in a Ryder Cup, in a President's Cup, how much putting matters. Like, and I think a lot about a guy like Corey Connors. Like, he was awful because he couldn't make an 8-foot putt, but on a regular PGA Tour event, that doesn't really, like, he's such a good ball striker. Being such a shit putter doesn't really hurt him as much. And you think about a guy like Denny, who I kind of glossed over, who I bet all the time, the best putter on the planet, pretty much unquestioned. You can ask any player on tour and they'll say that, but yet he can't get a win somehow, and these guys who just have these great ball striking weeks do. Speaking of a guy coming in pretty hot, I'm going to reveal my best bet of the week. Ooh. Davis Riley, hometown narrative, Mississippi boy coming back here. Course history ain't great though, Scotty, but the birdies are better gained, is great. Second in the field, bogey avoidance, makes a lot of birdies, doesn't make a lot of bogeys, should be able to get to 20 under par, I hope. Ninth and off the tee. He's a very good driver of the ball. Sweet swing in Davis Riley. Greens in regulation, also 12th. Had a little bit of a lull there late in the summer. I think this could be a good sort of comeback spot for him. Played his best like Valspar through the Florida swing and this sort of southeast climate, Bermuda grass type environments. I'm going to take a flyer on him with some of the rooting interest of the certain to be huge crowds in Jackson this week. Davis Riley 40-1.
I like that. I mean, he's coming off a cut too, so he's great both, for an outright and just in like if you're doing fantasy too. I kind of like that. If he burned you last week, play him.
Yep, usually works.
Yeah.
What about moving down? Straka, Moore, Mullinax, Clark, all guys also at that 50-1 range. Kirk, Woodland, Power, Aaron Rye, Adam Hadwin in the 60s. Like a lot of journeymen here that like could easily come about that you're like, man, I want to take one or two of them here at like 55, 60-1. Any of them that got your attention?
Chris Kirk, kind of in the Harris English realm, like good all-around player. Had a great year last year. Can he roll that in? Also, I think Aaron Rye might be kind of a sneaky pick. Like not great putting numbers, but he's got good iron game. Torrey Pines is kind of I could see that as a course comp. He played well at Farmers. I think those are kind of my two. I think, is Steele up there? He was
Is who?
Oh, sorry. I thought we'll save it next. I think he's coming up.
Okay. Here's my two. Taylor Moore. I got a 60 on him this morning. Nice. Number one in birdies or better in easy scoring conditions. The guy just really kind of eats up Birdie Fest lately, and he's on a great run. I think a disappointing start to his season last year, but 8 consecutive cuts made for Taylor Moore, which includes 4 top 25 and 2 top 6s. The last 8 tournaments, he's been very, very solid. And then I'm a sucker for Gary. I love him. I'm going to bet him. It's probably not a good bet, but all of a sudden, randomly, Scott, I do a little fantasy national model, and Gary Woodland is 4th. I'm like, got to bet him. Don't know how it happens. It probably says more about my modeling than it does anything else. But back on Southeast Bermuda, where obviously he had that run, he lives down here by me. So he's familiar with sort of practicing in these type of conditions, not only putting on Bermuda, but like playing out of the fairways in Bermuda in rough and around the green games will be a very familiar territory for him. And he was on a run early last season where it's like, is Gary back? 5th at the Honda, 5th at the Arnold Palmer, top 20 at the Valspar. We were like, everyone was wanting to bet Gary Woodland, and then the iron play went away. But at the Fortinet, 4.6 strokes gained on approach, his best iron week since April. 66-1 is the number I got. I'm going to take a little flyer on my boy Gary this week.
That's a good call. Yeah, and also just Bermuda out of the rough is just a whole other ball game. It's
the chipping, man.
Oh my God, has ruined me.
Yeah. If I can get my boys, listen, me and my guys from Ohio are like, we're pretty level handicaps. I go up there, I'm screwed, but I bring them down here on my home turf and they can't chip for shit. Let's move down to sort of bomb range here. Steely's down here. Alex Smalley, Putnam, Svensson, my boy. I'm not going to bet him this week. Justin Lower had a good week a couple of weeks ago. Benny On had a good week. Sue has been playing really well. Like anyone, I'll kind of just open it up to you in terms of like bombs. Are there any that you like this week?
I got a few. I got my man. Well, I'm definitely doing Steele coming off a cut.
Okay.
Apparently he was like, he's been like Hogan with his irons.
Yeah.
And then cut, and then all of a sudden it's like, so that's why I'm on him really. I'm kind of betting on a bounce back, and this is kind of a good course fit. Svensson, dude, I went to the Fortinet and I watched him on the range. Blew my mind.
Stripe show.
Like I stopped, moved down the end of the range, and it was just like staring at him, followed him for a few holes. Like if he can get a little bit of putting, like blew my mind.
So pure. I know. I saw him at the Honda. I followed him almost the whole day, me and my dad, because my dad's like, we didn't want to follow like the main guy. So he's like, who did you bet on? I'm like, I have this guy Svensson at like 81. He's like, let's follow him a little bit. We ended up watching him play like 13 holes. It was just incredible.
Unreal, right? Yeah. And he's like not a big dude, and he's just can do anything with the ball. Like,
yep.
He's gonna. I mean, I think it just like a lot of these young guys. Like after a full year or two, are like this guy's gonna be unreal. And speaking of like a future President's Cup stud,
Yeah, would love to see him on there.
They don't want to win. They're just too nice.
Yeah, I know. I've heard some people like Luke List this week. What do you think about Luke List?
No, hard.
Yeah, me too. He did rate out like number 2 in my model, but I'm like, then I look at the model and I'm like, but he's missed like 7 cuts in a row. I can't get.
Yeah, I mean, maybe in like a GPP or something, cool, but no. And then my guy here, this is my like bomb, is my dude, Marty Dow, Zhu Chung Do. Love this guy. He was on tour, had a cup of coffee, had to work his game back. I think he's just like classic case of turned pro too early, got his ass kicked, went on tour, had to get back down, and now he's back and he's a bomber. The rest of his game's pretty good. And I just like that kind of player, like someone who's had it, got punched in the face and is back now. Like, you see that with like Steven Yeager, someone like that.
Yep.
And I think this guy's more talented though than someone like Yeager. But he's someone I'm all in on for this year.
All right, here's my guy over 100 to 1. Total kind of flyer here, but it's just strictly bomber. Bramlett, 130 to 1. He's number 1 in driving distance in the field.
Oh yeah.
Third in greens and regulations. So like you hit it really far and you hit a lot of greens. That's not bad. Coming off a 12th at the Fortinet. Yeah, I don't know. 130 to 1, not a bad one. Here's a random one. Let me see if I can find the number. But I thought about it. I saw it and then I looked a little bit more into it. This is probably like a top 40 bet. But where is he? Right here. Chad Rainey is 400 to 1 on Bet365. He's from Fulton, Mississippi, which isn't far from this. Here's a guy who he won a PGA Tour event last year. He won the Corrales. He's played this event twice now. He's made both cuts. I think he finished around like 36 both times. But a guy with a PGA Tour victory under his belt, playing in like a home game, basically, and he's 400 to 1. Just a massive number. I think you can maybe pencil him in for like a top 20, top 40.
I like that. Pound that
Rainey,
number.
baby.
Yeah, get to it.
All right, dude. Anyone else you got?
Those were kind of my, Callum Tarrant, I've just been waiting on his entire career to pop.
Yeah, me too.
It's just
worried me a little bit with the missed cut at the Fortinet, so like I didn't go back.
Yeah. John Huh, he's down there coming off a missed cut. Sucker for that. The GOAT, Ches Reavie, Kevin Tway. Come on. No, I'm joking.
Normal names. Yeah, this is the fall swing. I think this is just the reality of the fields that we're going to get for a long time now. And it's sad, but I thought about it, dude. It's like, I don't want to complain. I kind of put a complaint tweet out this morning and I need to check myself because I'm like, you know what? We have a golf tournament. It's this PGA Tour offers us more events than any other sport. I don't want to complain about an off-season tournament. Like if you give me Titans Jaguars in July, I'll be ecstatic about it. You know what I'm saying? So like we have to think about it like this is the off season. It's not like the major Augusta to the Open. So like just the fact that we're getting golf and we're getting a tournament and the names may not be great. I want to be appreciative of that and enjoy it.
Total. And that was my big kind of like my memory bank thing. Sorry to bring it back, but was just like the President Cup is a great tournament. Like this is awesome.
It was great.
Awesome. And it's just like, it's still in its like infancy. There's only been 14 of these. The Ryder Cup, I think the Ryder Cup's almost 100 years old. And the US won 84% of the first, I think like, what was it? 21 of 25 in a tie.
Of the first ones?
Yeah. President's Cup's like 14 total. 1 win for the Nationals, 1 tie. And I just think like, don't change a damn thing. This is great. Just give it time.
Give it time.
the President Cup's way harder too, because it's just like they got buy-in now with like pairing, the Koreans with Colombians and like the South with the Canadians. It's just like now they have buy-in and now they're like getting going. It's just like similar to what you're saying. Like I'm just grateful that it's there. It's cool. Like everyone was tearing it down the week before. This sucks. They should cancel it. They should completely change it. It's like, no, it's still young. Give it time. It's going to be great. Like change nothing.
Yes.
Like I'm grateful this is on. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Sorry,
it was extremely enjoyable. Even it got a little sweaty down the stretch, man. Like a couple of things, like I hate to pull an Azinger, but there were a couple of moments there late where it felt like, I don't know, a chip in or something weird happened. Sebastian Munoz is taking out Scotty Scheffler. Like weird things were going down. But I'm happy that the U.S. was able to pull it out, of course. But they made it quite an enjoyable event. So congrats to our tweet of the week guy, Trevor Immelman, and his team. Man, I appreciate. Listen, you're the man. I appreciate the hell out of you. Thank you for coming on and joining me. I'm going to get out of here so everyone can check out Monday Night Football. I bet the Cowboys. Would you bet on the football?
No, I'm getting back into it though because all my golf.
I bet the Cowboys tonight. We'll see how it goes. They're probably losing.
Niners lost. That was brutal yesterday.
Yeah. All right, dude. Scotty Holdridge at Holdridge_Scott. Like, give this man a follow. Some of the best, funniest stuff that you will possibly see on Twitter.
Please. I need
Kirsch
it.
says, how much poon are you expecting from coming on this pod? I hope a lot. I hope that you have a great night. Everyone loves you, man. Thank you for coming on the show and supporting me. And like and I know all the stuff that you did behind the scenes to sort of help me out. So I greatly appreciate you and I appreciate you coming on tonight.
I appreciate you, man. I can't thank you enough. Like you're such a good dude. Like, not to get too corny and sappy, but I everything you do, man, like I always look forward to it. It's, helps me in every week, it's something to look forward to. I know it's hard to do every week, but we appreciate it. And thank you for all you do, man. Can't believe I'm on here. This is insane.
What a pleasure to have you on. We'll do it again sometime in the fall. Appreciate you, dude. Later.
All right, buddy.
Thank you all for checking out Preferred Lines. Make sure to give it a like and a sub on the way out. If you check it out on iTunes or Spotify, I don't know, do something there too. I'm trying to keep up content through the fall. So I know a lot of people are kind of using it as a breather. I want to keep things going, keep the engine running. I got exciting stuff coming for the new year. I hope that you enjoyed these new segments at the start of tonight's show. Enjoy Monday Night Football. Have a great week. Enjoy the Sanderson Farms. I'm out of here. Peace, y'all.